This first training is about helping you to become the best shooter in your league. There's a new technology being used by NBA teams called NOAA that trains shooting in a way that's never been done before. I'm going to show you why NBA teams are using NOAA, how NBA players are using it to train their shot, and how you can get most of the same training benefits NOAA offers for free. You're also going to learn why some players never become great shooters, no matter how much they practice, and how to keep that from happening to you. NOAA focuses on one of the two parts of a perfect shot. The two parts of a perfect shot are shooting the ball straight and shooting it the correct distance. Shooting the ball straight comes from shooting with correct form, and shooting the ball the correct distance comes from shooting with correct arc. When you have a consistent arc on your shot, you make more shots. NOAA focuses on arc. It can tell you the exact measurement of your arc on each shot you take.
Basically, it's just a teaching device or teaching aid to enable guys to come in and get feedback from someone else or something else besides a coach. And we'll see what happens. There's a lot of data out there that shows that it's successful, and we're one of the first NBA teams with a wall mount that's actually on 24/7 for these guys if they want to come in and shoot.
Tool for a shooter. You know, it allows you to track yourself, track your shots, your misses, and try to search for that consistency as far as release point and trajectory. So, I mean, I think if every shooter could have one, they'd get one.
So each time you shoot the ball using a NOAA machine, it calls out the measurement of the arc you're using. And when you get instant feedback on the arc of your shot, you can then make adjustments to your power and release point until you're shooting the same arc every time. When you shoot the same arc every time, you get control over the distance the ball travels. Every great shooter has this control. It's the reason they miss so few shots short or long. This is a printout of a first-time NOAA training session done by a shooter with a very inconsistent arc. Compare that with the printouts of two brothers who own a NOAA at their house. When these shots were taken, the brother on the left was in 10th grade, and the one on the right was in 8th grade. Now each of these three shooters took 25 foul shots, and the arc path for each shot was recorded on these charts. This is how a player can hit a wall as a shooter and never become great. When you don't know what arc you're shooting at when you practice, you end up training your body to use different arcs. A player with an inconsistent arc can never become a great shooter. And most players don't even realize that having an inconsistent arc on their shot is what held them back. By training with a NOAA machine coaching you, you'll build a muscle memory for a consistent arc, which is a huge advantage. But if you can't afford one yet, there is something you can do. You can get most of the same training benefits NOAA offers by using a few simple tricks. The way you'll train a consistent arc for your shot is by training to use the same power and release point consistently. And you do this by focusing on two things: where your eyes focus on the rim and where your fingers end up pointing to on your follow-through. You always want your eyes to be focused on a spot deep in the back of the rim. When you're shooting from straight on, that spot is dead center in the back of the rim and about 2 inches down. And when you move around the court, like you do in a game, focus your eyes on the bottom of the net loop that's in line from where you're shooting from. For example, when you shoot from the elbow, you focus here. Or when you shoot from the corner, focus here. The next step is to pay close attention to your hands right after you shoot, specifically where your fingers are pointing to on the backboard at the very end of your follow-through. I learned this from Coach Rick Torbett at Better Basketball. Check your shooting fingers at the end of your follow-through, and if they point somewhere between the top of the box on the backboard and below the top of the backboard, you almost certainly shot with a correct medium-high arc. A great place to start is by shooting and making sure that your fingers and hands are framing just above the box on the backboard, like this, at the end of your release. Now, if your fingers point below the top of the box on the backboard at the end of your follow-through, you almost certainly shot too low of an arc. If your fingers point above the top of the backboard, you shot too high of an arc. Experiment a little and see what works best for you. The ideal spot for your fingers to be pointing to is going to be slightly different for each player, but it'll never be below the top of the box or off the top of the backboard. By training to have your fingers point to a spot between the top of the box and below the top of the backboard on your follow-through, you can be sure that you're training a correct arc, not too high and not too low. And by practicing to have your fingers point to that same spot over and over, you'll build the muscle memory that makes using that arc consistent. You'll gain distance control on your shot, and as a result, you'll make more shots in games. Here's 2 things to look for so that you can be sure you're practicing those 2 steps correctly. The first thing to look for is that you're hitting a lot of shots deep in the back of the basket. These are called Brad shots, and that stands for back rim and down. Even if you've been taught the perfect shot is a pure swish, the world's best shooters more often shoot a shot that hits deep into the back of the basket, grazes the back rim, and falls in. Here's some footage of Lebron, Dwayne Wade, Stoudemire, and Gallinari that'll show you what I mean.
James has had huge games here at the Garden, and pass Gallinari, open 3, puts it in. James with the jump shot for the Knicks, guarding James. I mean, you just can't stop players that all the talk about Carmelo Anthony. Power forward, he's playing a lot of center early. And Stoudemire again, keep looking. James again. James on pull-up all night long. Wade, that's a 3.
Wade's actually a better shooter going to his left than his right. Good crossover, good balance.
Miller signed that 5-year, $30 million deal.
So when you shoot and you see the ball hit deep in the rim and you hear the little clink of a good Brad shot, you know you're on the right track. The other way to tell that your practice is paying off is by watching where the ball goes after it goes through the hoop. If your shot comes right back in your direction after you hit it, you're practicing your arc correctly. Here's an example. This is Ray Allen shooting before a game. If it wasn't for him having 5 rebounders, most of his made shots would be coming straight back to him. When you're practicing and you see that the ball is hitting the back of the rim and coming back to you more and more, you know that you're beginning to train the correct arc and building muscle memory for it. And once you've shot that same correct arc over and over in practice, your body will automatically use it in games. When you put everything I just covered in order, it boils down to 3 steps. Step 1, focus your eyes deep in the back of the rim. Step 2, shoot the ball so that it hits the back rim, goes down, and rebounds back to you. In step 3, hold your follow-through and check your shooting fingers at the end of your shot to make sure they're pointing between the top of the box and below the top of the backboard. So what's this going to look like when you actually go out and practice it on your own? Start by getting close to the basket and going through the 3 steps. Looking to see that the ball is hitting deep and coming back to you. Once you're consistently hitting from close range, you step back towards the foul line. That shot went in, but it was more of a swish. I really want to see the ball hit deep. That's pretty good. Once you're comfortable at the foul line, step back to the 3-point line. That was another swish. I'll take a swish in a game, but when I practice, I want to make sure that I'm practicing my arc too. So I really want to see the ball hit deep. That's better. Nice, right back to me. That was another swish. So I'm making a little adjustment to my release and go for a deep shot on the next one. Boom. So once you're practicing, focusing your eyes deep in the back of the rim, and you're seeing the ball hit deep in the rim, and your shots rebound right back to you, and your shooting fingers are pointing between the top of the box and the top of the backboard on your follow-through, you're training that second part of shooting that most players miss out on. I added a printout that you can download with the complete step-by-step instructions I just covered. Just go to the College to NBA main page, and here where it says Distance Control Training for College Basketball Players, click that link and it will open up in a new window. And then go over here to File and click Print. Noah is an amazing machine, but LeBron and Ray Allen didn't own a Noah when they were growing up. They figured out on their own what you just learned how to do in 3 steps. With what you've learned in this training, you've now got everything you need to take control of your arc, make more shots, and reach your full potential as a shooter. So leave a comment below or send me an email at twan@collegetonnba.com to tell me about your progress. I'm here to help you if you have any questions at all.